Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to the Journey Podcast. We have an episode today that was inspired to me by a client who reached out to me the other day. And she is a client that I resonate with very deeply because I can get in my head a lot about ambition. I have big goals, I have personal goals, I have business goals. And my biggest source of stress and anxiety these days is just the distance between where I'm at and those goals, right? I'm not hungry. I'm not, living out of my car. I'm not like struggling, but I still do feel a really immense amount of anxiety because I'm not where I want to be. And so it's very important for me to kind of reel myself back and ground myself in reality and really change my perspective on where I'm at. So that way I can feel relaxed where I'm at. And this client was struggling with the same kind of issues that I have. And I know exactly what this is like. And I do have a strategy on how to mitigate those feelings. But essentially, what she texted me and asked me, she said, Zach, how do you stop yourself from being too ambitious, or how do you, feel better when it comes to, your ambitions, or how do you keep yourself from getting too ambitious? That's exactly what she said. She said, how do you keep yourself from getting too ambitious? And I told her, I said, there was a point in time where I wanted more and more and more and more. When I was really hungry, when I was really wanting to hit those 5 to 10K months in my business, when I was first getting started, um, that was all I wanted. And I wanted more. When I hit 10K months, I wanted 30K months. When I hit 30K months, I wanted 50K months, and on and on and on and on and on. And there got to a point to where I realized that I had more than enough. And so why was I getting myself so stressed out? And being able to reflect back, I noticed that my life didn't actually change from 5 to 10K a month, right? Once I was able to afford rent, once I was able to afford food, once I was able to afford to travel, not much of my life changed. The more money in the bank didn't actually change anything. 5 to 10K months didn't change anything. 10K to 20K months didn't change anything. 20K months to 50K months didn't change anything. In fact, nothing changed whatsoever. I still lived in the same city. I still lived in the same apartment. I still have the same girlfriend. I still have the same friends. I still do the same things for fun. I still travel no differently. Like nothing in my life had changed the difference between making more money. And so I realized that what I had was already the end goal for happiness and fulfillment. That happiness and fulfillment wasn't going to come from the more I had. And fulfillment was actually going to come from what I already had in my life right now. And I realized that the end game for most people, where they derive the most happiness and fulfillment, is not 5 to 10K, 10K to 20K. It's actually freedom over their time and energy. And I told this client, I said, you just quit your job and you went full time in your business, which means that you can wake up when you want to, you can travel wherever you want to, whenever you want to, you can go to sleep however late you want. You don't have anyone telling you what to do. You can stop work and go for a walk on the beach whenever you want to. Like you have freedom over your time and energy. And that is the end game. That is where happiness and fulfillment really comes into play. My life changed dramatically the moment I quit my job and went full time in my business. My life never the same again. But the more money I made in my business, my life didn't actually change. And so what I started to realize was that I was already in the end game. I was already where I wanted to be. I was already where I should be happy. And so whenever I get ambitious, whenever I have goals, I look at it as a game, right? I recognize that business and life is now a game that I'm playing for fun, that I'm choosing to play, right? It's not a game that I need to play. I don't need to go from 10K to 20K, 20K to 50K. Like, I don't need to do that, right? My ambitions push me to do that because I have a fear of retracting backwards and going back to where I came from. But I realize that I don't need to derive my happiness from my success in business, that it's literally just a game that I'm playing for fun. And that all the happiness and fulfillment that is to come is already here and that I should enjoy it. So that's kind of how I balance that question and kind of recognize you know from keeping myself from getting too ambitious. I still have the ambitions, but I don't put so much pressure on them for me to derive my happiness and fulfillment, whether or not I'm succeeding or failing. It's literally just a game. As long as I have freedom over my time and energy, then I'm going to be a happy person no matter what. And I recognize that as the source of happiness and source of freedom in my life. Everything else is just a game. And so I look at it for what it is and I appreciate it for what it is, but I don't let myself get too caught up in the emotions of that game of whether or not I'm succeeding or not. because that's just going to bring happiness or unhappiness, and it will always be fleeting. So hope that kind of put things into perspective, guys. We'll catch you in the next episode. Peace.